Great to see you here today, making a really strong presence and making your voices heard at this visit from the Chinese Premier. We thank you for gathering here today to bear witness, to stand up for important values of democracy and freedom. Because we stand here on the lawns of Parliament House, we do embrace those fundamental values of freedom of speech, democracy and human rights. These values are the cornerstone of our society and they must be defended not only here in Australia, but across the globe. As His Holiness the Dalai Lama has said, it is not enough to be compassionate, you must act. And those are incredibly wise words, and words that you all, by being here today, really reflect that sentiment from the Dalai Lama of not just being bystanders, but actually standing up, raising your voices and demanding a better world. And I thank you for being here, for being part of that. For all those of you who've come out to protest today, we raise our voices for those who cannot. We are here to highlight the injustices and human rights abuses which are put forward in the name of the Chinese government and which Prime Minister Anthony Albanese must take up with the Chinese Premier when he meets with him as part of his visit. The Australian government cannot be a bystander. The Australian government needs to raise its voice as well, just as you all are today by being here. The Greens stand in solidarity with the Tibetan people, whose culture and identity has long been under threat. We stand with the Uyghur community who face severe oppression and are subjected to significant atrocities. We stand with the people of Hong Kong, whose freedoms are being continually eroded. And we must amplify the voice of those in China who stand up and demand, who have the courage, they dare to demand democracy and reform. We particularly admire their courage in the face of significant threat and challenge. As the Chinese Premier visits the Australian Parliament as a guest of the government, I urge all of those who are attending those meetings to raise these issues with the Premier. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has talked about disagreeing when we must. Well, when it comes to human rights, we must disagree. We must see this visit as an opportunity to advance human rights for people who are not free to speak. We have that freedom in this country, and we must use a visit like this to be very clear about Australian values and Australian expectations of those who we deal with. We must not step away from these moments. We must take this opportunity to raise our voice and to demand these outcomes for these communities. Now, the Greens have long supported freedom for Tibet, and today again I am calling on the government of China to end the repression in Tibet and to listen to Tibetans who want the restoration of their rights and freedoms. This is a long fought campaign and one that we must not forget about. We cannot simply think this is something of the past. So to the Tibetan, Uyghur, Hong Kong and Chinese democracy activist communities who are here today, I simply want to give you this message. You are not alone. We stand with you and we demand democracy, freedom of speech and human rights. Your courage and resilience is an inspiration to all of us. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you.